This episode is brought to you by San Pellegrino Ciao. A gift from Italy to your home. San Pellegrino Ciao is a flavored sparkling water made with real fruit juice, finished with a pinch of Sicilian salt for a perfectly balanced taste. So which flavor will you choose? Peach, lime, blood orange, cherry, or maybe the all-new limoncello? Crafted in Italy with 0 grams of added sugar. San Pellegrino Ciao. Buy it now.
Listen, all you New Yorkers. Excuse me, taxi. Okay, man, we're looking around.
This is the 77 WABC minicast.
I just want to raise an issue, and I want to turn it over to Governor Patterson. I think Trump, in many ways, has been a successful president. He's done some very important things for this country. He's closed the border. He's putting a nail in the coffin, or trying to, of wokeism. He's fighting to protect American values. He's confronted, but he hasn't completed the job of the existential threat of Iran. He's moving the economy along. He's trying to make us energy independent as well as independent from natural resources, and trying to keep us up in the battle with China for AI domination, which may be the future of the world, AI domination. It's between us and China. What troubles me, Governor and Eric, is this. I think it's time for Trump to restore a positive relationship with America's allies and spend less time making nice to our adversaries. I don't like what Trump did with Vance at the White House when they had Zelensky there. I thought it was insulting, it was demeaning, and encouraged and emboldened Putin, who thought that Trump and Vance were in the tank and were going to sell out Ukraine. I thought that was awful. I think when he's rude to the Italian prime minister, who was a close friend of his, and they got along famously for a while. If you have a disagreement with an ally, you should do behind closed doors, quietly and nicely explain the differences, try to find and share common values and strategies, and work together. You don't try to go public and embarrass people. He's pulled the stunt throughout this recent weeks with Israel and Netanyahu. He loves him. He doesn't love him. He's done this. He's wrong. He's stupid. I've saved you. You know, he's missing the point. You can't make nice to the North Koreans. You can't make nice to the Russians. You can't make nice to the Iranians. You cannot make nice to the Chinese. You cannot make nice to the Venezuelans. And you can't make nice to the Cuban regimes. You have to confront the evils that they represent and work with your allies to either overwhelm them or at least contain them effectively. And I think Trump loses a lot when he gets involved in what I consider sophomore or even high school problems with people who don't go along with him or don't amen him to death. Governor, your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts are very similar to yours. Remember, as we said in a previous segment, he said that the war was over. He said that we had shut down all of their ground artillery, that we had blown up their airplanes, that we had stopped them from throwing the kind of napalm or whatever it was they were doing. And then it was as if he forgot about what he said because they started back up again. And, of course, that caused us to start back up again right in the middle of June. So I just don't understand. I sometimes feel that he's bored when he's president, and his way of keeping himself entertained is to do these things like have a housing bill right on his desk. It's bipartisan. He can take all the credit. The Democrats were not fighting over the fact that he was taking all the credit. And what does he do? He says he won't sign it, and he won't sign it until they pass Citizenship for Voters. Citizenship for Voters is a good bill, but why does it have to go in front of this? And I just don't understand.
And you and I talked about it this morning with John Catsimatidis,
right,
in the 6 to 10 a.m. show. The fact of the matter is, you had a victory there. You could declare a victory on a bipartisan bill. It's a pro-housing bill. People want to deal with the issue of housing and affordability. You should wrap yourself out there. You give the congressional delegations, Republicans and the Democrats, something to say we've done something bipartisan. It's good for the country. It's good politics for the Republicans. Now, what has Trump done?
Yeah, and the amazing thing is, during that show on Thursday morning, Bill O'Reilly was on the show, and he agreed completely
With us.
with what the two of us said.
Then he must be right.
And then he has to be right. But
who, Bill O'Reilly or the president?
No. On this one, Governor Patterson and I are right, and Bill O'Reilly said the same thing.
Okay.
yes, so I agree with you. I don't know what the people who are close to him are saying to him, because sometimes he just seems to go off the rails, and there doesn't seem to be a method to the madness. Now, in the past, he would act mad, but then there was an agenda that came after that. Now he just gets mad, and he takes a couple of days off, and he gets mad again. And I don't understand why he's doing it. I don't think he's necessarily hurting the country. I'm not saying that he's, having some kind of mental issue or something like that. I just think that he is misjudging what some of his actions have been, particularly in the last 6 weeks.
Eric, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like this housing bill. I mean, there were parts of it that I didn't support. I mean, I'm not sure it's a great idea to prevent private equity firms from buying private homes and rebuilding them.
I understand that.
I think that increases the housing stock and drives down prices. There's more there's more out there to buy. So supply and demand. The larger supply, their prices go down. So there were parts of that bill that I didn't support, but I think the president's point was, and you may disagree with the manner in which he's going about it. He's all in on election integrity, as I think we all should. I support the Save America Act. I think you should be able to prove that you're an American citizen. I think you should be required to show a picture ID to prove that you are who you say you are. And I don't think that it makes sense, like we were witnessing in California. They're still counting the ballots in the primary race from weeks ago, and that undermines election integrity. So I understand the point. So does it make sense to tie the two together? Reasonable people can differ, but I understand the point he's trying to make.
No. Let me separate this out. Whether you agree with all the components of this housing bill, it doesn't matter. It was a victory. It was a victory that he could have declared and wrapped up and had a bipartisan bill, and the members of the House and the Senate could have waved it around and say, look at us, look what we've accomplished. And they'd wrap around the mantra of affordability in housing stock. Okay. But what he's done is he linked it to a bill that they don't have the votes to break a filibuster. That's the whole key. In other words, he's pushing it where Thune, who's majority leader, who wants to work with him, doesn't have the votes to get it done. The only way they can get it done is by breaking the filibuster or modifying the filibuster rules.
Right, but they don't have the support in the Senate for. I agree with that.
So what he's asking for, in a very real sense, is Trump is asking for the impossible, and somebody who understands the legislative process needs to explain that to him. Thune cannot deliver on this. He can wrap it around any bill he wants. It will still not get through as long as you need 60 people to do it. Now, you could modify it a little bit, and a suggestion to the president is simple. Have a conversation with Thune and do what they call a talking filibuster. So what's a talking filibuster? Instead of you have to demand that you have a full attendance in the room, demand that whoever speaks has to continue speaking, and it always has to be somebody continuously speaking. And then through the rules committees, what you do is you limit the time for discussion and debate. And Governor Patterson, you were the leader of a legislative body.
Yeah,
does that make sense to you?
We had. I don't remember us actually having a filibuster where one person was speaking, but we had a filibuster where we would just keep,
But you can from a rules committee, what you can do is it goes on the floor. You'll say you have 18 hours of discussion and debate, and then all discussion and debate is over.
Yeah, but you still run into the problem of then when the Democrats are in control, that they can do a similar kind of thing, and then all of a sudden D.C. becomes a state. Supreme Court has 13 or 70 Supreme Court justices until they have enough to do whatever they want to do.
We've talked about this before. I'm deeply troubled by this issue of election integrity. I'm deeply troubled by blowing up the filibuster. Because once the Republicans do it, you're giving carte blanche to the Democrats to do it, and they will push through anything. The rebuttal to that position is they're going to do it anyway, so we might as well do it
Right,
first.
but as we've had this discussion with Jesse, the only time it really makes any sense or really poses a real threat is if a single party controls both the White House, the Senate, and the House. Otherwise, doing away with the filibuster doesn't get you anywhere, because if you control the Senate, you do away with the filibuster, but you don't control the House, the Speaker isn't going to put it on the floor, won't get voted on, it goes nowhere. If you control both houses of the Congress, but you don't control the White House, who cares? It'll get vetoed. So there has to be this perfect storm of controlling the Senate, controlling the House, and controlling the White House. And it's certainly possible that you can have one party doing that, but I just think the way the landscape is, I still see one party or the other controlling one of those branches, at least in the foreseeable future.
Well, it's time to wrap up this week's Let the Record Show. I want to thank my good friend, His Excellency, Governor David Patterson, for being on the show.
He is our grand-eyed, exhausted, mystic ruler.
and despite the rumors I've tried to circulate, he is not the new Republican National Chairman, or the New York State Republican Chairman, or the campaign manager for Carolyn Schengel for Congress in Manhattan. Despite everything I've done, I can't get that done. I want to thank Eric Levine, who not only will not do that, but will walk across the street and go back to being a practicing lawyer and making a living. So I want to thank Eric for sharing his time away from making a living for his beloved family. I'm Judge Richard Weinberg. We want to thank you for listening to this week's show. As always, God bless you.
Just want to, Richard, was this your way of trying to get me a raise? Is that what that was?
I'm working on it.
Okay,
I'm working on it. God bless you. God bless your families. And, of course, God bless America. Look forward to being with you again on next week's Let the Record Show. Thank you for listening.